G'day, James Rose here. Today I'm going to try to import a bunch of dates or like meetings or basically calendar items into Google Calendar using Zapier. Now this came as a question from Janet Murray. Hi Janet, if you're watching. She explicitly said that Zapier might not be an option here, but it's all I know, so I'm going to make this video anyway, and hopefully it is helpful to someone. I haven't actually tested this yet, so I'm just going to wing it on the fly and see how we go. I reckon this should be possible. So I've got my Zapier account here, and I've also created this is just a brand new spreadsheet, which I'm going to set up with you. I've actually created another sheet here with just some demo data in it, so I can show you the final step of this, but that's all I've done at this point. So what I'm going to do first actually is create some columns. So let's say for a calendar item, we might need a name, probably need a date, a time, and a description. So I'm going to say, I'll just have a demo one here, like a test one. With date, you're going to want to make this a date column. And make this one a time column. Oh my god, what am I doing? It's here. One more thing too is it depends on what locale you're in. I think that's the right pronunciation of that word, but depending on if you date things as day, month, year, or month, day, year, you can change the settings for Google Sheets in here. File, spreadsheet settings. I'm just going to leave it as US, even though I'm in Australia. But you'll see here, so if I go and type the 3rd of October in Australian, yeah, that kind of format, so 3/10. If you double click that, now that it's set up as a date, you'll see it's actually the 10th of March. So I'm just going to write that around the other way for now. And let's say it's at 12 o'clock. PM, is that right? That's midday? Yeah. And I'm a description. So it's going to be our first test, because we're going to need that in Zapier. I'm going to change the title to testing Google Calendar. Easy. All right, so I'm going to go and create a Zap. I assume you've got an account at this point. I mean, it's pretty easy to set up. Once you've got your account, you would have ended up on that page I was just at. So you would have seen the Make a Zap button, and we'll come into here. So I'm going to call this Google Calendar test again. Whoop, computer's going crazy. So I'm going to try and trigger on Google Sheets. I've already connected my account, which you'll see in a second, but let's say new spreadsheet row is what I'm going to trigger on, because the way I'm going to trigger this import is actually by pasting in a bunch of data, so maybe like 10 rows or something, and you'll see how that works at the end. So that's why we're going to trigger on new spreadsheet row. So I'm going to choose one that I've previously connected. If this is your first time, you'll just have to connect your Google account there. And because I just created that spreadsheet, it'll actually show up as the last one. Otherwise, just search for the name. And it's going to be sheet 1, because sheet 2 is the demo data that I've added. We're going to test, and it's already done it actually. So you can see that's just pulled in that data that I created. So you can always get more samples if you want to pull in a few more demo pieces to try out. I go to continue, and it's going to go down to the actions step. Oh, no, it's not. I'm just going to do that manually. I'm going to add a Google Calendar. Now this is new ground for me. I haven't done this before, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to create a detailed event. I could do a quick add as well. Google passes the text for date, time, and description. Ooh, you could do it all in one go. I'm going to do create detailed event because I've already broken out the different detail in there, and I haven't connected an account, so I'm going to do that. Just pulled it off screen because there might be some sensitive info there. But anyway, I've just allowed access to my Google Calendar. All right, so we've got calendars. So I'm going to go with my normal one, which I assume is this one. I've got lots of calendars going on, but that's the email it's set up under. Summary, description, start date and time. Okay, wow, this really is detailed, but all we should need is summary. So I called that name. So you'll see here, if you click plus, this is all the data that was in that spreadsheet row that we pulled in before. So that's the name, description, date, and time that I put in. So I'm just going to go name, description, pretty simple. I'm going to pick the description, start date and time. Oh, there's an end date and time as well. Oops, maybe. So, okay, so I'm going to start with date. I'll go space time and we'll see if that works. Now, you can get super tricky here and go like date. I'm pretty sure this works in Zapier. If I go time plus 1H for 1 hour, that'll make it a 1 hour event. And everything else is not required. So I'm going to continue there and let's just see if this works. See, this is saying it's going to try and create this with this data here. Ooh, that might not work. We'll see. I'm going to go send test to Google Calendar. Are we going to get an error? Well, something worked. So let's go to Google Calendar. When was that? October 3. 12 p.m. Haha! Boom! I love it when things just work. And oh no, so it didn't work. My plus 1 hour thing didn't work, but it still created the event. That might not matter. All right, I just quickly paused to look up the documentation for Zapier, but it's actually, the mistake I made was that I need to go +2. I need to put a space in there. So I'm going to try this again. Go back to edit template. And I'm going to go to here, put a space in, we'll continue. I'm going to delete that event and I'm going to go retest, send test to Google Calendar. Hopefully it doesn't explode. Come on. Oh, there it is. Aha, look, there we go. So if you wanted to make that a 2 hour event or something, you could just go +2H in your edit template. All right, now, the way we're actually going to run this import, so that only added one date, right? Based on that one row that we've created here. So now that I'm finished, I'll go down the bottom and go to continue. We've already tested, so I don't need to do that. Finish. I've already given it a name, so I'm not going to bother giving it a folder. I'm just going to turn it on. And it'll do its thing. Now, all I've got to do if I want to run an import, because what this is doing now is constantly checking that spreadsheet to see if anything is new, any new rows are added, because that's what we use there, the new spreadsheet row. So now we've just got to create a bunch, right? And the easiest way, if you have an existing spreadsheet, let's say, I'm going to change this. So yeah, hopefully you have just an existing spreadsheet or something, and you'll be able to paste this data in. So I'm going to change that to a time, just in case it already is. I'm going to make them all 12 p.m. and I'll just increment the dates maybe. Actually, I've got the date wrong again, so I'm going to switch this to the 4th of October. And I'm going to do, does that work? 6th, yep, cool. So I've got 10 items. And I'll just repeat these. Does that work? Yes, Bob Selly, Bob Selly. They're all going to be at 12, and we'll give them a description. I'm going to have to go and delete these manually after. That's going to be fun. But now, all you have to do is highlight the ones you want to paste in. Let's say that was the test one, so I don't want to do it again. I'm just going to copy those, and I'm going to paste. Now, that'll automatically check that sheet in like 15 minutes, I think. Oh, there you go, every 5 minutes. But if you want to run that manually, I'm going to come back here, and there's my test. I can go to the arrow and then go run. And it's going to do its thing. Now, there's one little thing here that you might run into. If you have, let's say, like 100 rows, I'm not sure what the cutoff is, but if you have a ton of rows, this will actually say we're holding your Zap because there's so much data, we're not sure if that's what you actually meant to do. If so, you'll get an email as well with a link to click on it to say to confirm to run, and it will take you into the task history where you can then say, I want to actually, yes, I do want to run this. It's not a mistake. So that's happened. And yeah, look, so there's all the events that I just created. Call Sally, call Bob, call Sally, call Bob, call Sally. And now I'm going to stop and go and delete all those one by one. There might be a way to do that with Zapier, but there's only 10 of them, so I'm going to delete them. All right, hopefully that helped. Yeah, that's all for this one.